Fellow citizens, you are right in thinking that I am not a stranger either to your state or to the city of Mysore. I have paid several visits to the state and also to this city. Of course, this is the first time that I have come in my capacity as the president of the Indian Republic. Ever since I have arrived, it has been my good fortune to receive kindness from all. I desire to thank the members of the Municipal Council and the citizens of Mysore for the kindness they have showered upon me. No doubt we have won our independence after a long struggle. Now we have before us very hard and sustained work in this period of construction. We have secured for ourselves the power to fashion our lives according to our whims and fancies. Therefore, it is for us to utilize the opportunity to the best advantage of the people of this vast country. We have had a long history and a culture of which we are rightly proud of. Science has now cut down the distance, and even if we wish to remain untouched and unaffected by the cross currents of the world, we cannot do so. We are passing through a period of transition in which not only many of our old ideas but also our old institutions are more or less in the melting pot. We have therefore to be vigilant so that we may not lose the good that is in the past as also in the present. An opportunity is given to us to make a combination of the old and the new and to develop and fashion our lives and our institutions as to make them most serviceable in the context of present global conditions. We have a great deal of work to do in this country. There is the question of the spread of education, and there is the demand for the general improvement of the health of the people. Above all, there is the question of the poverty of the masses. In all these fields of life, we do require a large number of workers who will devote themselves to ameliorative work. This is a kind of work which in my respects is more difficult than the struggle in which we were engaged against a foreign power. Wherever I have gone as the President of India, I have taken the liberty of reminding everyone of this great responsibility which has now fallen upon our people. To the extent we are able to discharge that responsibility, shall we have the capacity to rule ourselves. Within 3 years or so that we have been free, I must confess we have not been able to achieve much, but there are reasons for that. The difficulties which we have had to face have been tremendous. We have been able to overcome many of them, although it is as yet not possible to say that we have overcome them all. In this work, we require the sympathy, cooperation, and active help of all classes of people. With the achievement of freedom, we can see there are certain difficulties which are inherent in the situation itself. There are certain others which are creations of our own. We vow it to ourselves and to the country to remove them and not to create them afresh. Whenever a big revolution takes place, there is a clash of ideas, interests, and programs, and these are becoming more and more apparent. That is no reason for disappointment or for apprehension as regards the future. If we are bent upon achieving real freedom for the people, freedom from want and fear, we can certainly do that. All these are manifestations only of eagerness on the part of some people to achieve it sooner than other people. That is a point which must be borne in mind when we find that we are faced with different programs and ideologies. Each one of them has to be judged on its own merits, and if there is anything which we consider to be good, there is no shame in adopting and accepting the suggestion from whatever quarter it may come from. Our government, I am sure, will not hesitate to adopt them if it feels convinced that they are the right things to do. We are now passing through a period of real experimentation. The biggest experiment in democracy is going to be made in this country within a short space of time, when we shall have elections on the basis of adult franchise on a scale unprecedented in the history of mankind. I hope and trust that you can easily imagine the immensity of the task. It is a trial not only for the government but also for the people who have to show that having got the right to vote, they will decide things democratically, realizing fully the great value of their words. It opens to us a way of settling many of our differences by fair means. It also gives us a chance of demonstrating to the world that our masses understand the interests of the country. If we bear that in mind and vote to the best of our light, keeping in view the interests of the country at large, we shall have done very well indeed. The experiment can then be said to be fully successful. On the other hand, if we are not able to use the vote wisely, or if forces arise which make it difficult for us in the country to use that vote at all or wisely, then it will be very difficult to maintain freedom. It is therefore necessary that we should all realize the great responsibility which has devolved on us and prepare ourselves for it. This country, as I said the other day, has had a history that is not very pleasant. We have had large empires in this country. During the time of the Hindus, Muslims, and the British, big emperors extended over large tracts of this country. Before the British came, there was always a tendency, particularly in the outlying parts, to cut away from the center. These tendencies led to their downfall. What we need today is the realization of the oneness, the unity of this vast continent.